In 1 year, he went from unranked to the #1 high school player in the country. He can do this.
And back is LeBron. Oh!
And this.
Let's go. Ball fake. Oh my goodness!
And right now, he's averaging 25 points a game, but you don't even know who he is. Shaedon Sharpe grew up in Canada. He was the definition of an athlete. Early on, he thought he was going to be following in his dad's footsteps and be a hockey player. While he pursued ice skating, the love for hockey never came. His focus was football. No one, including Sharpe, saw basketball in his future. His friends got him to join their basketball team for a year when he was a kid. He gave it a try, didn't like it, went back to football. I really love playing football. I really put in a lot of time becoming a football player, and I thought I would go into the NFL. During this time, he was still playing basketball, but it was for fun and conditioning. But then something tragic happened. I was running down the field and the dude came on my right side. I didn't see him, dude got my leg, and that's how my football career ended. He had suffered a broken tibia, but sometimes things come from the worst times in your life. He decided to give basketball another try. He started high school off in Canada, playing for HB Beale High School. As a freshman who had never focused on basketball before, he led them to the Canada equivalent of a state title. He was jumping out of the gym. He was now well past 6 feet. Things were getting serious. And in the effort for more recruiting attention, he would transfer to Sunrise Christian in Wichita, Kansas, the same school that brought Buddy Hield to the United States. But things didn't go as planned. He struggled to get on the court and finish the year as an unknown to the basketball world and unranked. Unwilling to wait around, he made the decision to transfer to Dream City Christian in Glendale, Arizona, and it's safe to say Sunrise didn't realize what they had on the bench. The 6'5" guard, and I need to say it again because this is crazy, came into the season unranked, like actually unranked, no significant offers, but things got crazy. By October, he had offers from Alabama, Creighton, Oregon, Xavier. By December, it was Kentucky and Kansas. He averaged 21 points and 6 rebounds, but we still weren't seeing him on different ranking outlets. He was still a relative unknown. That was until the AAU circuit. Within weeks, every scout, college coach, and NBA exec had learned the name. He was quite possibly the best player in the EYBL, averaging 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, while shooting with great splits. It was truly a joy to go back and watch his tape. He was 6'5", had a 7-foot wingspan, and springs in his shoes. His game was extremely fluid. His shot was silky smooth on the perimeter, especially for someone with that kind of physical profile. He wasn't overly quick, his handle wasn't super strong, he wasn't there to play make, but he had a lethal pull-up and step-back jumper, moves that he might have been a little too confident in, as his shot choices were often questionable, but it for sure made him fun to watch. He was a monster at the basket and as a backdoor cutter. His frame was NBA ready. You could sit there and continue to poke holes in his game or tendencies, but at the end of the day, there was no denying his upside was through the roof, and this had college coaches scrambling to get their pitch together. He had slipped through the cracks, and seemingly overnight, he was the #1 player in the class of 2022. By the time he even made it on some ranking outlets, he was the top prospect. Then in September, we would see him commit to John Calipari in the University of Kentucky. But then things got a little weird. He would reclassify, graduate early, and join Kentucky in the middle of the season. But okay, we're about to see the top recruit in the country tear it up on the college court. But if you tuned into a Kentucky game, he was nowhere to be seen. Now, if you looked a little closer, you might have spotted him. The #1 recruit in the country is sitting on the bench. Why? Calipari tried to play it off as a situation where he didn't want to throw a guy into a team that had already been working and playing together, that he wanted Sharpe to be ready for the 2023 season. But as time has passed, things have become a little bit more clear. There was nothing stopping Sharpe from getting in the game. I did talk to Cal about it, my coach, trainer, even my parents, but at the end of the day, it was my decision. My mindset was get my body right. Kentucky thought they were getting a year to develop the most sought-after player in the country. Next season, they would have him sharing the court with reigning Naismith Player of the Year Oscar Tshiebwe. But then we got closer to the draft, and Sharpe was getting mocked as a lottery pick. It became more and more clear that what he did in one summer might have been enough, and he declared for the NBA draft. He had finessed the system and blindsided Kentucky. During the pre-draft process, he started to blow away teams at the top of the draft. His measurables were insane, and the rumors started to spread, and eventually a video of the supposed event was posted on social media. He had posted a 49-inch vertical. Now, some questioned the validity of the event, but it wasn't something being talked about just on social media. NBA.com, Sports Illustrated, they were covering this situation. They acknowledged that the league had not confirmed or reviewed it, but if true, the highest vertical in NBA history, higher than Michael Jordan's 48, miles ahead of Zach LaVine's 42. What's going on here? the #1 recruit in the country, has a 49-inch vertical, but we're not hearing him being talked about with the Chet Holmgrens and Paolo Bancheros of the world. Going into that draft, he was looked at as a boom or bust, high risk, high upside. He was a mystery. We had never seen him in college basketball. In fact, we barely saw him in high school. Was there more to that decision not to take the court for Kentucky? We knew the top 3 was locked and loaded. We knew Ivy and Keegan Murray were likely off the board next, but then it was interesting. When was Sharpe going to be coming off the board? At 6, the Pacers went with Mathurin. It really felt like this marked the end of the consensus elite prospects. At 7, you had a lot of people mocked here, so why not just go with the guy with ceilingless upside? And that's what the Blazers did. Think about how crazy this really was. A year ago, he was unranked, barely recruited, for the most part unknown. Now, without even playing college basketball, he was the 7th overall pick in the NBA draft. Insane. Now, looking back at this selection, it might seem like a no-brainer, but we really need to put ourselves back in that time. This didn't seem safe. A top 7 pick is valuable. They might have been getting a guy that was a top 3 pick a year later, but they also might have been drafting Jaden Hardy. Hardy was in this same draft. He was ranked as the #1 guard in the country. He had a similar physical profile, similar promising skill set. He was the next Anthony Edwards, but he had just stunk it up in the G League and was now going in the 2nd round. The Blazers, though, were a team trying to salvage the Damian Lillard era. This was a risk worth taking. Now, almost immediately, it became pretty clear it at least wasn't a bad pick. The next few guards off the board, Dyson Daniels, Johnny Davis, they weren't doing anything. Shaedon Sharpe was looking good. We didn't really know what to expect, but he was averaging 10 points on solid splits. These were the numbers we saw from him for most of the season: 10 points, 47% from the field, 37% from 3. The scoring upside was on full display. But the main thing everyone wanted to talk about is the earth-shattering dunking ability. Some of the dunks he's pulled off in this season alone are absurd. His ability off 2 makes him a walking poster. If he takes off, it's best to just get out of the way. But what exactly did the Blazers have here? He was shooting the ball really well, he's a freak athlete, but where was his upside really? I think we just found out. By the end of March, the Blazers' playoff hopes were in the dumpster. It was time to chase a top pick, so they decided to shut down their superstar point guard Damian Lillard. Not only that, they shut down basically anyone that gave him a shot at winning a basketball game. The team was now in the hands of the rookie, and Shaedon Sharpe showed out. Since Lillard went to the bench in the last 8 games, he's averaging 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. He's shooting 46% from the field and 40% from 3 on 8 attempts a game. In this lead man role, his game has transformed. The shooting has been knocked down. His play in the pick and roll, especially as a playmaker, has been shocking. And the jaw-dropping dunks haven't gone anywhere. Now, yes, this is not a normal situation. He's taking the court with Kevin Knox, Skylar May, and Jonathan Williams. But this is an exclusive to Sharpe. Maybe not this drastic, but a lot of rookies are getting free reign to close out the year. Some guys like Jabari Smith and Jaden Ivey have been playing on practically G League teams all season. Yet in this stretch, Sharpe is averaging more than every single rookie. Now, he's not going to miraculously average these numbers next season, but we now know he is legit. If we redrafted right now, he's not going at 7, that's for sure. The Blazers were in a weird spot coming into this season. I didn't see a way out without a Lillard trade. Today, they have Lillard and Simons locked up for the next 4 years. They now have one of the most exciting and promising rookies in the league, and right now, as we speak, have top 5 lottery odds. They have a 10% chance of adding Victor Wembanyama to this group. This is fascinating, and I can't wait to see how it plays out.